I've had this for a bit now, and a few people ask me about it, so here is my take after living with it in my own place. My house is just under 1,000 square feet, and it is busy. I have 3 active boys, and hot water gets used constantly, sometimes back to back for what feels like hours. I switched to this because I needed to free up floor space, and I wanted steady hot water without waiting for a big tank to recover. This kind of unit is for someone who wants a wall-mounted electric water heater that only heats water when you open a tap. It is also for someone who has the electrical capacity to support it, because the electrical side is not optional or flexible. If your home has limited panel space or older wiring, this can turn into an electrical project fast. If you already have a strong electrical setup, or you are okay hiring an electrician and possibly upgrading a panel, then it can make sense. The reason this one stands out is how compact it is compared to a tank. In person, it is a slim rectangle, roughly 18 inches by 18 inches, and a little over 3 inches thick. The first time I held it, it honestly felt almost too small to be responsible for a whole family. But once it is on the wall, it makes a lot of sense. In my mechanical closet, every inch matters. I have a main water shutoff in there, some cleaning stuff, and not much else. A normal tank heater would have eaten up the whole space. This sits flat on the wall and stays out of the way. Build-wise, it feels solid in the hand. The front has a clean stainless steel look, and it does not look like a big industrial box. The buttons and the display are simple. I like that the temperature setting is right there on the front because I actually use it. I set mine around 120 degrees Fahrenheit for normal showers and dishes, and I leave it there. Having the number on a screen sounds like a small thing, but day to day, it is nice not guessing where a dial is. On the inside, it uses copper heating elements, and that matters to me because it feels like something that can be serviced instead of tossed when it gets tired. I also like that it adjusts power draw based on how much hot water you are actually pulling. In real life, that means when I crack a sink faucet for warm water, it is not acting like I just started a full shower. It ramps up and down instead of going full blast every time. Now I want to talk about the part that decided my whole installation, and that is the electrical demand. For full output, this unit needs 3 separate 40-amp double pole breakers. That is a lot. It also means thicker wire, and it means you need room in your electrical panel. In my case, I can do basic wiring, but I did not want to gamble with something that pulls this much power. I had a professional handle the electrical side so it was safe and up to code. If you are thinking about getting one, I would not treat that step lightly. It is not just plugging something in. If you are already close to the limit on your panel, you might be looking at adding a subpanel or upgrading service. That is not fun, but it is part of the reality with electric tankless heaters. Once the electrical was handled, the plumbing side was pretty straightforward. The water connections are 3/4-inch pipe thread fittings on the bottom, so it matched what I already had. I added shutoff valves and service valves because I want to be able to flush it. The manual recommends flushing with vinegar about once a year, especially if you have hard water. Where I live, the water can leave mineral buildup, so I am not skipping that. It is one of those maintenance tasks that is easy to ignore until the heater starts acting weird, so I just set it up from day one to be easy. In daily use, it is simple. You turn on the hot water, and a moment later it is there. It is not instant at the faucet because you still have to clear the cold water sitting in the pipes, but the heater itself responds quickly. What I notice most is consistency. With my old tank heater, if the kids took long showers back to back, you could feel the temperature drifting. With this, the temperature stays steady as long as I am not asking for more flow than it can realistically heat. Let me put that in real terms. When only one shower is running, it has been solid for my family. I can run a shower and someone can wash hands at a sink and it stays comfortable. If I stack too many things at once, like a shower and the dishwasher and someone filling a tub, that is when you start to feel the limits. It does not shut off. It just cannot keep the water as hot at higher flow. The water turns more warm than hot, and the fix is simple. I either reduce the flow at the shower a bit, or I pause one of the other hot water uses. Cold weather changes the math too. In winter, the inlet water is colder, so the heater has to work harder to lift the temperature. On the coldest mornings, I can still shower normally, but I am more aware that trying to run multiple hot water taps at once is where things get tight. This is not a defect. It is just how electric tankless works. It can only add so many degrees of heat at a given flow rate. If you live somewhere with very cold incoming water, you should expect to be a little more conservative with simultaneous hot water use. Noise is another thing people ask about. This one is very quiet. My old tank heater made random heating noises, and I could hear pipes creak and pop when it kicked on. With this unit, most of the time I do not notice it. There is no big burner sound, no rumbling. It just does its job. Energy use is tricky to talk about because every house is different, but I can tell you what changed for me. I like that it does not keep a tank hot all day. With a tank, you are paying to maintain a stored volume of hot water even when nobody is home. With this, it draws power when I actually use hot water. Over time, my bills have been a bit lower than when I had my 50-gallon tank, and I also stopped having those moments where someone gets the last of the hot water and the next person has to wait for recovery. That convenience matters in a busy house. A quick note on smart features and mobile apps because people ask. This unit does not have a mobile app, and I am fine with that. I do not want to manage my water heater from a phone. I want it to heat water and let me set a temperature. The front display does that, and it has been enough. I can glance at it, confirm the set temperature, and adjust it if I need to. For me, that is the right amount of control. The main strengths here are the compact size, the steady hot water for normal household use, and the simple interface that I actually use. The biggest limitation is the electrical requirement. It is not negotiable, and it is not cheap to solve if your house is not ready for it. The other limitation is that it still has a ceiling. If you expect to run several showers at once in winter and keep everything very hot, you may need a different approach, like a larger unit, multiple units, or another fuel type, depending on what is available where you live. Overall, after using it day to day with a family, I am satisfied with it. It solved my space problem, it keeps up with our normal routines, and it has been reliable so far. I do think it is worth being honest about the install requirements and about managing simultaneous use, because that is where expectations can get people frustrated. If you have questions about my setup or how it behaved in a specific situation in a small house, leave a comment. Subscribe to the channel for more real-world reviews like this, and thank you for watching.